Mm-hmm.
Racket number 2. Redfin calls on real estate websites to drop crime data. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this is very interesting to me
Mm-hmm.
because of where Redfin stands on having open data. Okay, so the company cited the real estate industry's history of redlining as well as the potential to reinforce racial bias as reasons to abandon crime data on search portals and other websites. Okay, so not only is Redfin stating that they will not include crime data on their websites, Realtor.com is also saying the same thing. They're now calling on other industry players to remove the information from their own websites. Zillow does not share this data currently, so they wouldn't be removing anything. They're not calling on Zillow to do it, but Trulia, a Zillow-owned website, does share crime data in their maps. So interesting there that, Zillow's kind of A/B testing. Okay, we're going to do it on Trulia, but not on Zillow. And now here's the thing. Redfin Chief Growth Officer Christian Tabman said that we're very much focused on answering all the questions people have when they're considering a home purchase. One of the things Redfin is very passionate about is let's show everybody what realtors' commissions are. They post that. They want everybody to know their agents' commissions. And let's think about this, right? They want everyone to know the commissions, everything possible about the house, but they don't want the crime data on there because we believe that Redfin and all real estate sites should not show neighborhood crime data. They believe that people are interested in safety but not crime, and that those two don't correlate, okay? Because they're basically saying Redfin found that most crimes go unreported, meaning that data on crime may skew one way or another. And the fact that most reported crimes go unsolved means that some of the crimes being reported, in fact, may not be crimes at all. If you're extracting data at the neighborhood level, the risk of these gaps leading to inaccuracy becomes high. Okay, so they don't want people to look at crime data, avoid a neighborhood that has historically been discriminated against or has a history of segregation. So that's where Redfin and Realtor.com is coming from. What's your take on this, Nicole?
Well, it's interesting because it sounds like something else that is always so off, which is Zestimates too, right? You're sort of taking averages of everything and then throwing it in there. Again, I think this also solidifies the fact that being a local professional in your area is so important. I agree. I mean, I do think that the crime rate should go off. I think that depending on where they're pulling these numbers from, who knows what is or isn't happening. And then again, I mean, it talks about redlining. And I mean, there's so many potentials for discrimination in this situation. So again, I think the information is helpful. I think where they may be better off, because us as agents, like we send links to people, right? So they can find out and investigate. So I guess if you're wanting to give them information, maybe throw it a little bit into the consumer's hands. But I don't find it a bad thing to remove it.
The problem is, Redfin, you are picking and choosing the information in which people are going to be looking at when they study this particular neighborhood or this area that they're potentially buying in. You're basically saying, okay, the crime data we don't believe is accurate. So we're only going to show you this information. Like you mentioned, Nicole, what the home potentially is worth, right? That is very arguable. Like you can argue the value of home all day long. You can also argue they're also thinking about, hey, maybe school information shouldn't be on there. Well, a lot of people are going to look at school information, and I would agree. I think that a lot of the schools that are ranked extremely high, public schools, they're not worth the paper that they're handing out to the kids if they're still handing out paper. And they're ranked really high in a lot of states in the Northeast, and I don't think they're very good at all. That's my opinion. But there are rankings out there for a reason, and people do take those into consideration when they're moving into those areas. So just to remove all the data that people can go to now to 7 or 8 different sources, I think this leaves an opportunity for someone to basically give somebody everything. It's what I thought Redfin stood for, giving people all of the information, not hand selecting information. So I think there's an opportunity there for somebody to go in there and fill that gap and give consumers all the information that they can get on the internet at other places anyways. They can get crime data other places. They can get safety data other places. And I agree with you. They've got it. This is why I always said I'm not offended by this estimate. I feel like human beings are a little bit smarter than we give them credit for, right? If they're looking at crime data and they're basing their sole decision off of one source's crime data, they're probably not very smart, right? They're not taking a real analytical approach at the biggest purchase of their life. And I think that's foolish, right? If you're not sourcing out more information, if you're not spending time, to your point, this is a local purchase. You're going to live in that community. If you're not spending time in that community, feeling safe, then what the heck are you doing?
Well, and I think in all honesty, that even boils down to, because these sites even talk about, they have like walkability scores too. You know, I mean, again, if you're basing it on that number, like, again, you come to a town like we live in and there isn't that much walkability here. And you don't know that just looking at a number on there either. So again, I think you can boil it down to even the most simplest things of numbers that, I mean, the number is the number, but I agree. I mean, you definitely, the hope is that the consumer is diving in a little bit deeper to get, better and more accurate information. But
people are hungry for more information to answer their real estate questions, and Redfin will continue to add more and more data to help with that, Tabman wrote. We know that whenever we add new data, however, there's the potential for it to change whether people decide to live and invest in a neighborhood, and to do so in ways that are impacted by historical and current bias. So on one hand, Redfin's saying that they're going to keep adding data, but on the other hand, they're taking it away. This to me is prisoner of the moment. They want to make sure that they are looking as, culturally conscious as possible in everything that's going on.
Yep. And,
that to me, when a company like Redfin is just going to make decisions based on, well, how is this going to play PR wise? I don't know. I don't think they're really going to build something special. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip from The Real World, click here for another one.
Or if you like the full episode, click here.